The National Power Committee has asked states to provide suggestions for offering incentives to buyers and sellers on surplus power portal. The National Social Assistance Program. What is cash reserve ratio? India Web Browser Development Challenge. What is the Committee of Privileges in Parliament? Mushk Budji Rice received geographical indication tag. Carbon enhanced metal power star. Investor Education and Protection Fund Authority. Rural Electrification Corporation Limited under the Ministry of Power has secured a coveted place in the esteemed Morgan Stanley Capital International. The National Power Committee has asked states to provide suggestions for offering incentives to buyers and sellers on the surplus power portal. A higher price day ahead market and surplus power portal was launched by the Ministry of Power. It was launched to ensure greater availability of power during the peak demand season at a price higher than the ceiling of rupees 12 per unit by certain category of sellers. The power distribution companies, DISCOMs, will be able to indicate their surplus power in block times, days, months on portal. Those DISCOMs who need power will be able to requisition the surplus power. The new buyer will pay both variable charge and fixed cost as determined by regulators. Once power is reassigned, the original beneficiary shall have no right to recall as entire FC liability is also shifted to the new beneficiary. This will reduce the fixed cost burden on the DISCOMs and will also enable all the available generation capacity to be utilized. It is physical electricity trading market where power is delivered within 24 hours of the next day starting from midnight. They are traded in 15 minutes time blocks and the prices and quantum of electricity close the auction bidding process. The Auditor General of India submitted the report on the performance audit of the National Social Assistance Program from 2017 to 2021. It was launched on 15th August 1995. Objectives: it is a social security and welfare program to provide support to aged persons, widows, disabled persons, and bereaved families on death of primary breadwinner belonging to below poverty line households. For getting benefits under NSAP, the applicant must belong to a below poverty line family according to the criteria prescribed by Government of India. The other eligibility criteria and scale of central assistance under sub-schemes of NSAPs are as follows. Presently, NSAP comprises of 5 schemes. Indira Gandhi National Old Age Pension Scheme. The eligible age for this is 60 years. The pension is rupees 200 per month for persons between 60 years and 79 years. For persons who are 80 years and above, the pension amount is 500 per month. Indira Gandhi National Widow Pension Scheme. Widow aged 40 years will get pension rupees 300 per month. After attaining the age of 80 years, the beneficiary will get rupees 500 per month. Indira Gandhi National Disability Pension Scheme. An individual aged 18 years and above and the disability level has to be 80% will get rupees 300 per month. After attaining the age of 80 years, beneficiary will get rupees 500 per month. National Family Benefit Scheme. In the event of death of breadwinner, rupees 20,000 will be given as a lump sum amount. The breadwinner should have been between 18 to 60 years of age. Annapurna. The scheme aims at providing food security to meet the requirements of those eligible old age persons who have remained uncovered under other schemes. Under this program, 10 kgs of food grains is given per month per beneficiary. The Reserve Bank of India recently asked Indian banks to set aside a larger share of incremental deposits under the cash reserve ratio CRR. Cash reserve ratio CRR is the share of a bank's total deposit that is mandated by Reserve Bank of India to be maintained, with the latter as reserves in the form of liquid cash. The bank cannot use this amount for lending and investment purposes and does not get any interest from RBI. CRR applies to scheduled commercial banks while regional rural banks and NBFCs are excluded. CRR helps control inflation. In a high inflation environment, RBI can increase CRR to prevent banks from lending more. CRR also ensures banks have a minimum amount of funds readily available to customers even during huge demand. CRR serves as the reference rate for loans, also known as the base rate for loans. The banks cannot offer loans below this rate. Since CRR regulates the money supply, it boosts the economy whenever required by lowering the CRR. CRR is calculated as a percentage of net demand and time liabilities NDTL. This percentage is fixed by RBI and is changed for time to time by central bank itself. NDTL for banking refers to the aggregate savings account, current account and fixed deposit balances held by a bank. Currently, the CRR is fixed at 4.50%. This means that every rupees 100 worth of deposits, the bank has to keep rupees 4.5 with the RBI. The Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology recently launched Indian Web Browser Development Challenge. The challenge is spearheaded by the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology in collaboration with the Controller of Certifying Authorities and the Center for Development of Advanced Computing, Bangalore. The challenge seeks to inspire and empower technology enthusiasts, innovators and developers from all corners of the country to create an indigenous web browser. The desired browser will have its own trust store, use a root certificate from India CCA, and offer cutting-edge functionalities and enhanced security and data privacy protection features. As part of the challenge, government has announced a cash prize of rupees 3.4 crores for the developers. The ministry has also laid down the features desired in an Indian web browser. It must be compatible with all platforms including iOS, Android and desktop. It should offer built-in accessibility support. The browser should also have the ability to digitally sign the documents using a crypto token. It should also have parental control and a web filter for child-friendly browsing. It should come with support for Web3 and compliance with W3C standards. Lastly, it should also support all the official Indian languages. Rajya Sabha chairman recently directed Rajya Sabha Privileges Committee to investigate the complaints filed by 4 MPs who accused another member of proposing their name for a house panel without their consent in the violation of rules. Parliamentary privilege refers to rights and immunities enjoyed by Parliament as an institution and MPs in their individual capacity, without which they cannot discharge their functions as entrusted upon them by the Constitution. According to the Constitution, the powers, privileges, and immunities of Parliament and MPs are to be defined by the Parliament. No law has so far been enacted in this respect. In the absence of any such law, it continues to be governed by British parliamentary conventions. A breach of privilege is a violation of any of the privileges of MPs or Parliament. Among other things, any action casting reflections on MPs, Parliament, or its committees could be considered breach of privilege. This may include publishing of news items, editorials, or statements made in newspaper, magazine, TV interviews, or in public speeches. The committee examines every question involving a breach of privilege of House or of members of any committee, therefore referred to it by the House or by the Speaker or Chairman. It also determines, with reference to the facts of each case, whether a breach of privilege is involved and makes suitable recommendations in its report. It also states the procedure to be followed by the House in giving effect to its recommendations. When a question of privilege is referred to the committee by the House, the report of the committee is presented to the House by chairman or in his absence by any member of the committee. On 8th August 1942, Mahatma Gandhi started Quit India movement. On 10th August 1979, the satellite SLV-3 was launched. Mushk Burji rice received geographical indication tag. It is a short, bold, aromatic rice grown in higher reaches of Kashmir Valley. The cooked rice is unique and possesses a harmonious blend of taste, aroma, and rich organoleptic properties. It is mainly grown in areas of Sagam, Pansgam, and Sofshali of district Anantnag and the Birwah belt of district Badgam. The consumption of aromatic rice in Kashmir has now been limited to special occasions, marriages, and festivals. The geographical indication tag is a sign used on products that have a specific geographical origin and possesses qualities or a reputation that are due to that origin. It is typically used for agriculture products, foodstuffs, wine, spirit drinks, handicrafts, and industrial products. The Geographical Indications of Goods Act 1999 seeks to provide for the registration and better protection of geographical indications relating to goods in India. This GI tag is valid for 10 years, following which it can be renewed. Scientists at the Indian Institute of Astrophysics under the Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, have discovered a unique star named HE10051439, classified as the carbon enhanced metal poor star. The researchers used high resolution spectroscopic data acquired using high dispersion spectrograph attached to Subaru telescope to analyze the star's surface chemical composition. The team found that the iron content of the star is 1,000 times less than that of Sun, and it is highly enriched with neutron capture elements. The star, which defies previous classifications and challenges previous understanding of star formation processes, shows signs of having been formed through the combination of two different neutron capture processes, the slow and the intermediate neutron capture processes. It can help understand how different star formation processes influence the elemental composition of stars. Elements beyond iron are created due to reactions in nuclear astrophysics called neutron capture processes. The slow process is believed to occur in low mass stars during the asymptotic giant branch phase, and rapid process is believed to occur in supernova and neutron star mergers. One of the proposed sites for intermediate process is low metallicity, low mass AGB stars. Understanding the relative contributions of these processes to the elemental compositions of the stars is important for understanding the chemical evolution of galaxies, and the origins of elements in the universe. In a step towards financial literacy, Investor Education and Protection Fund Authority launched two investor awareness vans titled Niveshak Saradi as a part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav celebrations. It was established in 2016 under the Companies Act of 2013. The authority is entrusted with the responsibility of administration of Investor Education Protection Fund, make refunds of shares, unclaimed dividends, mature deposits, debentures, etc. to investors and promote awareness among investors. Nodal ministry is Ministry of Corporate Affairs. The Investor Education Protection Fund has been established under the Section 205C of the Companies Act 1956 by the way of Companies Act 1999. The following amounts that remained unpaid and unclaimed for a period of 7 years from the date they became due for the payment are credited to the fund. Amounts in the unpaid dividend accounts of the company, the application money received by companies for allotment of any securities and due for refund, mature deposits with companies, mature debentures with companies, grants and donations are given to the fund by the central government, state governments, companies, or any other institution for the purposes of the fund. The interest or other income received out of investments made from the fund. Rural Electrification Corporation Limited, under the Ministry of Power, has secured a coveted place in the esteemed Morgan Stanley Capital International Global Standard Index, effective from 1st September 2023. It is owned by the multinational investment management and financial services company Morgan Stanley. It is an investment research firm that provides stock indexes, portfolio risk and performance analytics, and governance tools to institutional investors and hedge funds. It is a leading provider of critical decision support tools, including stock indexes and services for the global investment community. MSCI indices facilitate the construction and monitoring of portfolios in a cohesive and complete manner, avoiding benchmark misfit. It has over 160,000 indices in its portfolio. MSCI has indexes for countries, regions, emerging markets, development markets, small cap, all cap, and even Islamic indexes. It selects stocks for its equity indexes that are easily traded and have high liquidity, with companies having high free float getting more weightage. It prefers stocks that have active investor participation and are without owner restrictions. The MSCI India Index is designed to measure the performance of the large and mid cap segments of Indian market. With 113 constituents, the index covers approximately 85% of Indian equity universe. The index is reviewed quarterly. Chitranjan Das, the politician and leader of Swaraj Party in Bengal under British rule. After failing the competitive entrance examination for the British dominated Indian civil service, Das entered the legal profession. He defended many accused of political offences and took an active part in nationalistic journalism, bitterly opposing British rule in India and rejecting all ideas of political or economic development of India along western lines. He idealized the life of ancient Indian village and saw a golden age in ancient Indian history. He supported non-cooperation movement launched against British rule by Mahatma Gandhi, and in 1921 was imprisoned for 6 months as a political offender. In 1922, he became the president of Indian National Congress. Under his leadership, the Congress abandoned its intention to boycott colonial sponsored elections for provisional councils. It decided instead to participate in order to seek positions that would permit them to obstruct governmental businesses from within. Later, when Swarajis were returned as the largest party in Bengal, Das declined the post of chief minister, stating that his aim was to wreck the existing government, not to cooperate with it. In 1924, he was elected mayor of Calcutta and tried to improve the lots of city's neglected Indian population. In 1925, there were some sign of possible compromise between Das and Lord Birkenhead, the Secretary of State for India, but Das died before any agreement could be reached.